What's going on, guys? Billy here, and between these two drones, the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom, I've definitely gravitated towards the Pro as my favorite, but the Zoom really does open up a ton of new possibilities when shooting. The specs resemble those of the original Mavic Pro released 2 years ago, but the bitrate has been significantly increased from 60 megabits per second to 100 megabits per second. The footage overall looks better, but the ability to optically zoom between 24 millimeters and 48 millimeters or 2 times is its main selling point, but that's not what I want to touch on in this video. Instead, I want to focus on the 4 times digital zoom, which gives you a lot more zoom than you'd expect. So the way this works is with a combination of optical zoom and digital zoom. The camera will zoom in optically 2 times to 48 millimeters and then digitally another 2 times to 96 millimeters. You obviously won't be able to do this when shooting in 4K, but DJI claims that zoom is lossless when shooting in 1080p. So I figured I'd give this a try by running some quality comparison tests myself. Now this first shot is zoomed all the way out at 24 millimeters, shot in 1080p. This next shot is zoomed in 2 times at 48 millimeters, also shot in 1080p, and there's no difference in quality between 24 and 48 millimeters, and that's because the zoom is optical. This means whether you're shooting in 1080p, 2.7K, or 4K, the image will maintain the same resolution with no loss in quality. Now the second shot is zoomed all the way in 4 times at 96 millimeters using the combination of optical and digital zoom. It still looks great and the resolution is 1920 by 1080, but I can say that it's fully lossless, meaning it looks just like the footage shot at 24 or 48 millimeters. Side by side, the 24 millimeter and 48 millimeter footage look identical, but we've basically already established that, so what I really want to look at is the comparison between footage shot at 48 millimeters and 96 millimeters. The one thing that really stands out to me is at the top of the arch, there seems to be some artifacting or noise towards the top, and overall the image is just softer. Now maybe through YouTube's compression you can't tell the difference, but it's definitely noticeable here through my computer watching them in their fullest quality. If you guys really care about image quality comparison, I'll leave a Google Drive link in the description where you can download the examples that I just showed. Aside from quality, there's also a difference in perspective, as when we're zoomed all the way out at 24 millimeters, you can see the part of the building with the column sticks out like it's its own separate wing, whereas when zoomed all the way in, it looks like one flat wall. Now, just like a telephoto lens, depth is compressed the further you zoom in with the camera on the Mavic 2 Zoom, which can give you some incredible shots like this one here of the city. It's also super helpful to just zoom in, as I'm able to fly my drone over the river instead of the busy streets of Philadelphia and still get this incredible shot of the skyline. Even with one single building, I can zoom the camera in all the way to make it look like I'm closer to the structure than I actually am. I love filling the entire frame when shooting drone footage, but sometimes it can be tough getting up close due to the obvious safety reasons. I trust myself, but I don't want to be too close to the building because anything can happen. Even though I think that I have control of the drone, a gust of wind could take it for an unexpected ride. Point of interest shots are probably the most common drone shot that you see in any edit or anybody flying a drone, and I love them. I think that they look awesome, but zooming in with the Mavic 2 Zoom's camera just makes that point of interest look even more epic, but it is very difficult to do when shooting with the 4 times zoom. This shot, for example, that I just showed you went really well until I came around the building fully to reveal the skyline. You notice that the footage jerks just a little bit and sort of ruins this shot, whereas if I was zoomed all the way out, that little hiccup may not have even been noticeable. I also have to mention that the footage that comes from shooting zoomed all the way in can be shaky at times, which is seen in most cameras. It's harder to stabilize a camera with a tighter lens, and when you're trying to fight through high gusts of winds, the results won't be absolutely perfect. So to wrap all of this up, 4 times zoom on the Mavic 2 Zoom's camera is seriously incredible. And it's not only helpful for shooting cinematic footage like I showed off in this video here, it's also extremely helpful when doing some different surveying jobs. So you can zoom in 2 times if you want, but if you need to get even closer to a structure that you can't get your drone physically closer to, you could just zoom in 4 times 96 millimeters and still have 1080p footage to look at on the other end, which really does give you a good looking picture. But in my opinion, I always think that 4K is going to be the way to go when shooting drone footage. It just gives you so much more detail, and the fact that I have to switch to 1080p to take advantage of the 4 times zoom probably means I won't be using it all that much, but I definitely wanted to cover it here on my channel because it's such an incredible feature. I know a lot of people are saying this. I really wish that DJI would have just combined the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 2 Zoom into one single drone. I've got no idea what that means from an engineering side to try to combine those 2 cameras, but that drone right there, if it could zoom in 2 times and have the 1-inch sensor and the Hasselblad camera, would really be a game changer. Anyway guys, I hope that you enjoyed the video. Be sure to let me know down in the comments what you think of the 4x zoom on the Mavic 2 zoom, and as always, I'll talk to you later. Peace.